everyone, and welcome to the Kop Council. How are we all? Hopefully all of you are on a fantastic day wherever you are from around the world, and welcome to episode 9 of the Kop Council Podcast. And in today's video, we're just going to be talking about the European Super League, of course, FSG and Liverpool Football Club, and how we all move on from what has happened over the last couple of days. Of course, it's been crazy, I think, for pretty much all of us and football fans around the world over the last couple of days, in my opinion anyway. But as you can see, I am joined by some very, very special guests. First of all, starting off with Ivan. Ivan, how are you doing, mate?
Evening, Connor. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very, very fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, man. Guys, you might see Ivan quite a lot in the next couple of weeks, so please welcome him to the channel, of course, with open arms, of course, hopefully. Of course, we've got the legend that is Dave, LFC Chats. Dave, how are you doing, mate?
I'm absolutely fantastic. Well, the week we've had, the last few days has been crazy, but I think I can see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I'm not too bad, and as I say, Ivan's in. Ivan did a 1 or 2 with me as well, so I know Ivan quite well.
Yeah, definitely. To be fair, we've got more Irish people on here than we have Scousers, which is weird. But
we can have a Paddy Irishman, Paddy Englishman, Paddy Scotsman joke if you want.
We could do, to be fair. But speaking of Scots, man, we do have Mr. Douglas from the Dugout Football Channel. Doug, how you doing, mate?
I am absolutely exhausted, but I was never going to miss out on this Kop Council podcast. Thank you very, very much for having me, and it is an absolute pleasure.
Absolute pleasure, man. And of course, we've got the horrible one in the group, Mr. Jack Mac LFC. Jack, how you doing?
Thank you very much for having me on, Liz. Absolute pleasure. Can't wait to get stuck into tonight's show anyway. What a great intro. Thank you very much.
To be fair, it could have been a lot worse. I could have called you a lot worse, but I
only because I beat him on FIFA. Sounds.
That is a lie. That is. I thought you were a truthful person, Jack. Anyway, but we do have another special guest. Anyway, we have Josh. Hello, Josh.
Don't have I'm the only non-Liverpool fan here.
Yeah, you are.
Please, man, don't do this to me. Oh no! Right, thank you guys. See you later.
You're going to get it. You're going to get it. You're going to get it.
It's not that bad, but we're friendly, Tom. Tom? Josh? Sorry, I got Tom stuck in my head. Sorry, so you can see with the chat. But yeah, of course, Josh as well. Everyone's links is in the video description down below as well. So if you want to go and follow everyone, then please do as well. But let's say hi to a couple of you guys. Helen is in saying evening, guys. Hello, hopefully you're on a fantastic day. Chris is in saying good evening, lads. John's in as well saying, hey guys, good to see us. Hashtag FSG out. Of course, we will be talking about all of those things. Tom going, all right, boys. Hello, Tom. That's who I was referring to earlier. And then Helen saying hi, and a couple of others as well saying hi back. Chris saying hello, welcome, Ivan as well. And Chris also says Dave is the Joker of the fan base. Yes, I would agree with that anyway.
I'll agree with that one as well.
But guys, let's kick things off then. I'll start things off with Ivan. Of course, I think all the lads have said, it's been a crazy couple of days, of course, with the Super League announcement, and then of course the backlash from it as well. What were your thoughts about it, Ivan? Was you for it? Was you against it? How was your thought process about the whole situation?
Yeah, football's evolving, right? That's the first thing, and the Champions League, the Premier League, the National League, Championship, everything, it's evolving. And I think in principle, and I'll hold my hand up to be slapped here, in principle, the concept of a Super League isn't a bad thing. The problem, as was called out, is the anti-competitive nature of it. And that is the fundamental issue for me. You can spread it out to engagement with fans, the fact the staff and Klopp didn't know, as did other coaches and players didn't know. Well, for me, and I think Neville and Carragher and all of those guys called it out, the anti-competitive nature, it's not sport. It's wrong. It doesn't sit well there. And that would be my line too.
Yeah. I would absolutely agree with that. And Dave, it's one of these things, like Ivan said, the non-competitive football. It's, what was it going to be, like 12 of the top European teams so far? Of course, rumor has it there was going to be 3 more. Of course, Bayern Munich and PSG, big names that refuse to go into it. As far as we know, of course, Bayern and Dortmund refuse to go in it because of the German system with the 50+1. Of course, and I think many people have to give them credit, not so much Bayern and Dortmund, but a credit to them, of course. But in terms of PSG as well, because you would think a team like PSG would automatically go into that, but it was a bit different, wasn't it?
No, I'll tell you, Ivan hit the nail on the head. And I was talking to Jack and Keith last night about this. Football is evolving and will always evolve. That's the whole thing. Now, when the Premier League came in the 90s, remember, guys, it was about elitism in a way. Let's be real here. It was for making more money for the top teams. It was for making it a bigger brand, making a brand out of teams more than they were before. It was about merchandising. It was about worldwide rights. Let's look at the Champions League when they changed it from the old European Cup, which was like a random, which was like the FA Cup. You could be drawn against anybody. There was no coefficients. Now it's coefficients in the Champions League. And did you see the new format in the Champions League? If you're telling me that's good for football, there's something wrong with you. The problem is, the coefficient only helps the elites. Yeah. You have a coefficient against your name. It's how well you've done in the last few seasons. Put you up the bloody ladder. And most of the good teams with the money have the high coefficient. So UEFA can cry all they want. They're as bad as everybody. I'm not, let's be real here. Prawn sandwich, boys. FIFA, who gave a World Cup to Qatar for money. There's no other reason you give it to Qatar for money. I mean, it's hypocrisy beyond belief. And the only thing I'll say about FSG was there is nobody out there right now, and there's nobody can tell me there's someone to come in and help take Liverpool off FSG because the money involved. We're talking Liverpool are priced at 5.3 billion. Now, it's a market price, I know. It can go up and down. Red Bird Capital bought us for 10%, which was 530 million. So we're roughly saying 5.3 billion then, if you work it out. Yeah. So who's going to come in? Do you want an oligarch like Chelsea? Do you want a Sheikh Mansour oil money boy from City? Do you want a hedge fund from the States who'll strip the living daylights out of your club after about 10 years? Or do you want to stick with FSG? They deserve to be slapped. There's no doubt about it. They will be slapped and it'll be never forgotten about. And they'll probably be forced out by the fans now. Maybe not this summer, but in the next year or two. But the problem is, who's going to come in? Lads, who's going to come in if FSG go? I don't know.
That's the true question, isn't it?
Sorry for the rant.
No, it's perfectly fine. And look, it is that sense now where, Jack, I'll go to you with this. Dave said that of course you had UEFA involved and everyone else is that practically the main losers of this and probably the breakout of it anyway is going to be the fans, and I think that is what it has. Well, that is the main focus of it. I don't because players, even their agents have gained power over the last couple of years and decades, and that is what I think the clubs want that power back. But overall, it's going to be the people that love the clubs, love the players, love everything about football that are going to suffer the most if this did go ahead.
Yeah, we've opened up every avenue to evil, really. Whether you look at Sky, as Dave mentioned, UEFA, FIFA, every part of football that was with it. It's not going to be a quick process. It's going to be a very long, stringent display, really, of trying to get these people out. But the multi-billionaires, they're not going to shift likely. I think over the last 48 hours, I think FSG, the message is clear from every single Liverpool fan. I was very much heavily on the fence with FSG, done a lot for the club, but at the end of the day, it was Jürgen and the players that brought success to this football club. It's the results on the pitch that matter the most. Yes, we can talk about transfers in and out of the club, but at the end of the day, that's where Jürgen has done fantastic. Yes, they brought him into the football club, but it was all Jürgen. I know people have been saying online, and everyone's entitled to opinions. It's important that we do hear everyone's opinions. But for me, from my personal point of view, it will be, I can just sense from in and around, I've not been out, but just the feeling from Liverpool, the Liverpool people, and obviously the fans around the world. It's a matter of time when they are going to be out the door. Because I think enough is enough. It was bad enough with the £77 tickets. Every mistake in which they've made, FSG, even if you spoke to one fan and just asked for their opinion, it doesn't have to be on the board or whatnot. They're so disenchanted with the real, just Liverpool fan base and just football fans in general. All these owners, mate, it really boils my blood, mate.
Yeah, it's one of these things where I think over the last couple of years, I think we've been pretty, on the same path with FSG. I think over, new stadium, practically there's the Anfield Road expansion and other bits and pieces, the new training ground in Kirby, being on the same page with Jürgen, building up this, bridge then towards the fans and building everything up over the last couple of years. And Doug, I put a post out that I personally didn't accept the apology because everything that they have built up over the last 10 years has all been thrown away from that. And there's no confidence now, in my opinion, between the fans and FSG, let alone the players, the staff, and even Jurgen Klopp himself.
That apology was absolutely pathetic. And I'm going to say why. You can show remorse. You can show that you are really sorry for your actions. But why on earth have you got yellow roses by you? Now, that isn't in his house. That is somewhere.
It was a funeral home, for fuck's sake.
That is somewhere that is not John W. Henry's house. And the fact is that BBC reporters were actually going for him. They were actually going to, go and, ask him. They were actually asking him questions and he just completely, pussied out of it. The apology itself, it was read on a script. You can quite clearly see it is read on a script. It is a PR stunt. And in my opinion, I think FSG have made more mistakes than they have actually made successes. And I'll give you a few examples. Number one, 2011-2012, Kenny Dalglish is about to be sacked as Liverpool manager. They could have done it in Liverpool. No. They called Kenny Dalglish to go straight to America for them to sack him in America. What is the point in that? What is the actual point in getting him to go over to America just to sack him? That's the first one. Second one, 2016, the ticket prices, £77. Everyone remembers that 77-minute walkout against Sunderland. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. You don't charge £77 for tickets. That is extortionate. Absolutely extortionate. Yes, you can say that, the Sky and they are definitely some part of the problem, but the fact is you do not charge £77 per ticket. Number 3, 2019, they tried to trademark the Liverpool's name. Who does that? That is an American kind of thing to do. Why on earth would you do that? And then the worst of the lot is the furlough. Now, they were about to furlough the staff and they had to backtrack because of a big backlash. And I remember the absolute hate and absolute backlash that actually came with that. So, and now this European Super League, as far as I'm concerned, after this episode, I am FSG out. And I am keeping my stance to that because they have made more mistakes. The fact that they went behind Klopp's back, the players' back, nobody wanted this. Nobody wanted this European Super League. Kop didn't want it. Milner didn't want it. And you look at Henderson coming out. Jordan Henderson, for me, is the most influential captain of the 20 Premier League captains. I don't care what anybody says. Jordan Henderson was a part of the Players Together campaign. He created that. He was about to have a meeting with the 20 Premier League captains. He did that. And then he comes out with, we don't want it, that post, and then everybody copied it. And I'm going to say this now. Jordan Henderson is a better captain than Harry Kane for England. I do not care what anyone says for me, but Jordan Henderson is a better captain than we ever thought. And who would have been saying that 10 years ago? Jordan Henderson has become a captain, a legend, and a leader.
Yeah, I think you said that perfectly, mate. It's the sense that, you know, you need a leader in bad times. And I think, look, Henderson, of course, he had that emergency meeting with the rest of the club captains and like you said, brought everyone together. And look, I remember a couple of weeks ago when Henderson was going on about, you know, deleting all social media and doing things like this. And he said, what's the point? You know, who's it going to benefit? Myself? Or can I help, you know, make awareness of certain things? And look, I think, Doug, you've hit the nail on the head there. But Josh, going to you, I know Josh is a Chelsea fan and he does feel out of place by you, so I do apologise for that anyway. But of course, you know, you had the Chelsea protest towards the Super League against Brighton, which I think brought, you know, shockwaves to the owners anyway, in going, look, this is what all fans are like. This is what, you know, nobody wants the Super League, and quite clearly this is the proof. But what's the thoughts around Chelsea anyway? Because of course we can all speak about Liverpool, but we don't really know about Chelsea, because Chelsea were, of course, one of the first people to pull themselves out of the Super League.
Well, the difference between Chelsea and Liverpool is kind of, in terms of this European Super League, is that obviously John Harry was going to be one of the leading men in the European Super League. He was the one who was trying to run the plans, run the script, run the money all into this. The difference with Chelsea is that Chelsea were the last English club to jump on the train, and it was simply because they felt like either they were Champions League with this. Connection, Stanley, is it?
I think Abramovich is watching you.
Oh, we're back. Got the Russian mafia at my door, but you know, Chelsea were the last team to join the European.
He is right. He
has the Champions League with Leeds United, West Ham. They didn't want to be stuck in a Champions League with, you know, West Ham, Leeds, and Southampton, for example. So it was a matter of just trying to stay up with the cool boys, so to speak. You know, as I said, Chelsea are calling for Brice Buck, which is our chairman, to be signed, but Abramovich, Petacek, and all the other board members are very clear. So it's a very different for me listening to all of you complaining about FSG and John Harry, and I can't sit here and relate because we're not in the same boat. We're calling for our chairman to be sacked. His role in the club isn't massively high. I said, I think Chelsea. Obviously everyone probably would be aware that Petacek, obviously the board member, came out to the protesters, and you know the specific. Everyone obviously said he was talking about letting the Boston, but his specific words was, "I know the problem. Give us time." 30 minutes later, Chelsea are pulled out of the European Super League. So, I think there was a definite. I think the protest helped with the timing of the announcement, especially given there was a football game to be played. So I'm proud of what the Chelsea fans did. I'm happy with Abramovich. As I said, Abramovich was the one who pulled us out of that competition as soon as possible. Brice Buck should be sacked and should resign from Chelsea because he did not communicate to the players, to Thomas Tuchel. The meeting that they had about it was an absolute disgrace. It lasted a very specific 3.25 seconds to talk about the European Super League that could change their career, which was a disgrace from him. So Brice Buck, our chairman, yes, he has to go and he has to resign, but obviously he's not the owner. Abramovich is the owner, so it's extremely different for us. But we were the last team to join for understandable reasons when you look at it, and we were the first team to withdraw. Not officially because we played a game, so our team had to be delayed. But I think I'm just happy that the club at least.
He's going to end up in a gulag
Instead of doing what our.
no, Josh is into that.
Don't get a takeaway tonight. You might be poisoned.
I'm telling you. Don't touch a door handle. Don't touch any door handles.
Oh no. But well, yeah, Josh has some good points there, and look, that Petr Cech coming out and speaking towards the Chelsea fans, and Dave, what are you drinking?
It's only Coke Zero.
Has it got any vodka in it?
No alcohol. I'm off the alcohol for a day.
Do you think if John Henry was at Anfield, do you think he would come out and speak to the protesters, or hide in his office?
Hide in his office.
He wouldn't even come to Liverpool. That's the thing.
They are not welcome.
He doesn't even know where Liverpool is.
You won't see him at Anfield till probably another year.
They are not welcome back at Liverpool.
Won't be there.
No.
Well, that'll be the next thing, isn't it? And I think, how long will it take the fans to forget about this? I think that's the next question, because, of course, the thing after this now is the rebuild with FSG and the fans, and it's now what will it take now for the fans to to build the bridges back up with FSG? I'll go with Dave for this first. What will it take?
I seen a thing on Twitter yesterday and it made me laugh. It said, all will be forgiven to FSG if they can buy Mbappe. Now, there is an irony of an answer, isn't it? That's like saying, talking about money and not having money and then spending huge, ridiculous money, and it's something like $1 million a week on wages. It's just a stupid sort of thing. I think the bridges are burnt with FSG. Whether they can come back to where they were, I don't think so. Maybe they look for a buyer in the summer. You know what I mean? That type of thing. But it's not easy, as I said. It's very hard to sell a club the price we're at. Who's going to come in?
Did you also see that? I was reading this. Apparently, the 6 clubs altogether have lost £48 million because of this. So that's £8 million per club.
Yeah, but that's fuck all, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's nothing. I'll tell you what, the sanctions are going to get. We're going to get sanctions, boys. You wait for a meeting today and tomorrow. I'm telling you, there's going to have to be some sort of sanctions. But my problem with sanctions is, if you sanction a club without hurting its fans, hurting its players, or hurting its manager, who had nothing to do with it, then you've got a backlash and another type of thing. So how do you hurt the owners? How do you hurt the 6 of them? Levy, Abramovich, Kroenke, Sheikh Mansour, FSG, the Glazers. How do you individually sanction those guys? Because they're the guys now around the table having their prawn sandwiches. Let's think about it. How do you do that without hurting the likes of the legacy fans like us? The legacy fans, remember? The new fans, the old fans. That's what I'm talking about. How do you do it without hurting us, or hurting Klopp, or hurting Tuchel, or hurting fucking Solskjaer, or any of the boys? Without, do you sanction the owners? How do you do it? I don't know how they're going to do it. But it's coming. It's coming down the line, baby.
Not a clue, but one thing I will say about this European Super League, it absolutely just reminded me of of another Chinese Super League. That's all. It was all about money.
Yeah, it's about money. Absolutely about money. Isn't every league about money?
I'm just sick of Perez just coming out with wham after wham after wham after wham.
He's an idiot. He's an idiot.
He just needs to shut his mouth, doesn't he, that Perez?
He needs his old tablets. He's a granddad, for goodness sake.
Can we just say though that he's claiming that Real Madrid has lost 800 million euros in the pandemic? It's like, is he smoking
they're building
crack?
a stadium. I think Liverpool are losing 5 million a week on
120,
games.
120,
right? So
120, I think he lost.
That's a lot of money, I'm sure. With salaries, that's the other thing. None of the clubs have introduced salary caps. Like the likes of us have all maybe taken a 5%, 10% pay cut for COVID. Yeah. None of the footballers have, so they still have the wage bill. They still have operating costs. Blah blah blah. So they are losing money big time.
Yeah.
But look at Barcelona. No wonder Barcelona and Madrid and the Italian teams jumped at it because they're bankrupt. They've no money. They've no money.
Yeah.
United
as well. United as well. Like Gary Neville.
United are in trouble. One of the most in-debt clubs in the world.
Neville talked on Monday about the state of Old Trafford and how they are literally siphoning money out of the club.
That's it. Yeah.
The club is rusting. The infrastructure is falling apart.
At the foundations, in trouble. Big trouble.
The problem with Manchester United is that they've been wanting the Glazers out for absolutely ages. Like it
hasn't worked.
No, 16 years far too late. But what you can say about them is that they're money sucking leeches.
Oh yeah,
they're sucking the life and the heart out the club. You look at Josh Kroenke's wee statement today. He was actually blaming COVID on the split between owners and fans. Really? Do you think Arsenal fans are buying that statement? They'll be like, Kroenke out.
They wanted him out for years as well. Every club, if they have a problem with the owner, they want them out. Problem is, it's not easy to get them out. You know what I mean? They own the club.
Yeah, the thing is as well, and it's like what Dave has said as well. Liverpool are estimated worth £5 billion, pounds.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay if Liverpool were in the same position like we was 10 years ago. Then yes, it's a lot easier then for a buyer to come in. But for someone to go, oh yeah, our club's worth £5 billion, by the way, go and put the offer on the table, and it's like you're either for that type of money, you're either gonna have owners like
leeches. You'll only get leeches.
Like Abramovich and like the Man City owner. That's the type that you're gonna get. What do you want?
Is that what you want?
We thank FSG for saving us from the brink of liquidation because we were very
we were nearly gone. We were gone.
Hicks and Gillette. I remember that regime and it was absolutely awful. And yeah, everyone remembers Martin Broughton as well. Like he was a big figure when he went with FSG before he was obviously moved on, and then Michael Edwards came in as well. So it's going to take a bit of I think they're going to have the FSG right now are going to have to grovel in front of every single Liverpool fan, and they're going to have to give money out to Klopp this summer for him to spend, because if they don't, then
Well,
the problem is, if they buy one or two world-class players in the summer and Liverpool do well again, I guarantee you 80% of the fan base will be happy with that. The other 20% won't be. Probably will never be happy with FSG anyway. They probably weren't even happy with FSG last year. I seen FSG out last year when we won the league. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's really important.
Let's be real here.
Your point at the start, right? What's the alternative? There's no alternative.
What do you want?
Exactly.
I was live last night. I was live with Jack last night, and I put it in the comments. FSG out, FSG. Who do you want? Mm-hmm. Who do you want in? Nobody could fucking answer me. Nobody. Yeah. That's why.
So I think, and again,
because there's no fucking answer. That's why.
Yeah, there is no answer. If you look at the positive for the last, say, 10 years, look at the ground, the stadium, the match day, the manager, the players, the whole vibe, the success. They're part of that. You have to give them. You have to give them
something.
You have to give them something. The regeneration of the general area, within a 2-mile radius of the ground has improved a lot. Yeah. And they're businessmen, right? And other than apologise, what else can he do? I was joking about him buying Mbappe as a little sweetener to say thank you, but seriously,
yeah.
That's the kind of statement you make. Klopp gets a list. He says it. You guys buy these 3 players for me, and I guarantee you the fans will be back on your side. Like, unfortunately, you're not going to convince.
That's what I said. 20%. You just won't.
You just won't. No matter who you get in, you could get 2 sheiks in with all the money in the world, and they won't be happy, and they'll want the Kop back as it was in 1979.
In the 70s and 80s.
We have to evolve. And I think the other point, and we've been kind of going on about it, the legacy fan piece, right? we're all legacy fans, right? We're also fans of the future as well, because I want to go to Anfield as many times as I can during the year, but I also want to watch them on my phone when I'm not there. So I want and I'll pay for that as well, right? So we kind of want our cake and we want to eat it, and we want the cherry on top as well. But for me, if FSG, I think they'll be hanging around. I can't see them going anywhere for a long time.
No.
If they come up trumps and they maybe come out with another apology, a next level down, maybe something in Liverpool in front of the fans, and they buy the 2 or 3 players that Klopp is looking for, suits me.
Well, the only way it's that is if we sign Mbappe, Messi, Ronaldo, Haaland.
Mbappe in the bag. The couple of strikers we talked about a couple of weeks ago, and a central midfielder.
Yeah.
But there's already rumours suggesting that the Konate deal's been done over the last couple of days.
Apparently, I've been reading more into that. Presumably the 1st of May. So
that was probably done in January, lads. That's just not. That's not. I think that is going to be announced on the 1st of May. But the thing is, the one problem I have with FSG is that this incident right now, they have shown their true colours. They went behind Klopp. They went behind the players. Didn't even ask the fans about this. They have shown their true colours, and it's going to take a lot to mend that friendship with Liverpool fans. No doubt about it.
The thing is, though,
I think the problem, Doug, you have, right, when you work for, like, these guys own massive businesses and organizations, and they make decisions. They don't consult with everybody for every decision. They make them, and staff can agree and commit, or they can disagree and commit, or they can disagree and walk out the door. They don't think like that. This is business for them.
I think, Ivan, they made a mistake though with the football in England, and especially in England, it's more historical. As you say, legacy fan. That's exactly what they are. Legacy bleeding fans. Because a lot of them, their granddad, their dad, their mom, their grandmother, sister. Do you know that type of way? It's not, it's not. It goes way, way, way. It's like a bleeding religion, basically.
It is, no, absolutely.
And
I think that's
you don't mess around with religions.
No, you don't.
Let's be real here,
You don't. But again, it's a business. It's been run from the States, run from Boston, similar to the likes of Chelsea and United, where they've got a kind of a presidential chief executive who just sits there, who's the kind of go-to between the owners and the coach and the staff. It's a different mindset. It's just completely different. That's how they run.
Would any of you agree then that the fact that we need something like the Bundesliga system, or have a group of people that are on that high level at the top at Liverpool, like Spirit of Shankly, but that are more in the know and know more than all of us do? Do you think that's what's needed to be happening?
I think the 50+ one run needs to be elemented, because you can't have all of these owners who literally control the clubs in their destiny of their hands, and cannot be and live in America, or not even be allowed in a country like Abramovich. These owners need to be in the club. They need to be involved in the club heritage. They need to be in the stadiums. They need to be with the fans. How do these Americans understand the football culture? How do these owners understand the heritage of these football clubs if they're over in America, which is a completely different sports
culture?
It's a complete. America's completely different. Their football is completely different. NFL's, but they don't understand what football is. It took Joe Glazer 2 years to learn the offside rule, for flip's sake. All right, and this is a guy who owns billions worth of Manchester United. The owners need to understand football. They need to understand the fans. They need to understand the football clubs they're with, and build something around that. Concrete FSG and the Glazers don't do that, because they don't understand the whole heritage of football. Abramovich was in the country Abramovich has been in the country until he got kicked out, so he understands. Daniel Levy, even though he doesn't know how to win a trophy and sack Jose Mourinho 6 days before a cup final, at least he understands what football is. So it's the fact that the 50+1 rule needs to be implemented because fans understand their clubs. They understand football and they understand what is best for the football clubs. These American owners who are in a completely different culture, a completely different surroundings don't. And that is what's going to kill English football if we continue to let these foreign people take over.
The problem with the Glazers... How come Daniel Levy, who knows about football, went into this stupid idea? With Abramovich, who knows all about football, he should have known. We know it's money, but he must have known it's not going to work. If he knows all about football,
he doesn't care.
The problem with the Glazers, Josh, is that basically when they came into Manchester United, I can remember this. I have a lot of Manchester United fans that have actually told me this. They never wanted the Glazers. They never, ever wanted the Glazers. There was a big protest at the time with them signing up to, take over Manchester United. But, they have never been wanted at Manchester United. So, that is a big problem. As far as the 50+1 rule, I'm all for it. I am all for it. I think it's worked in the Bundesliga. I think if you bring it into the Premier League, I think it will work fine.
Yeah, I agree anyway. But guys, let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sorry, we've kind of neglected the comment section so far in this. Anyway, Jack, was there anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, just these people in charge of these clubs, where they treat them like products. Sports, football is a sport at the end of the day. Yes, they are multi-billion-dollar companies and everything, but that's where the love and passion has gone out. And since Sky have come in, there's no regulation at all for within. There should be a lot more bigger regulation within football as there currently is. And these people we've mentioned, them, Levy, they're frankly not asked. They're more asked about the money, and sadly, they need to be a lot more influential people. The fact that you've got Kenny Dalglish within that boardroom, in and around, and even if it takes 2 seconds to ask Kenny what's going to be the reaction from the Liverpool people. None of them cared. You're telling me you own these companies in John Henry, or he's got so many people around him. It takes 2 seconds just to ask. It's so easy, man. The problem now is, Jack, we are becoming football franchises. That is what is happening with us right now. We are becoming football franchises. We are businesses now. We are not football clubs.
We have been for a while now. Come on. We've been for a few years. It hasn't been just this year. Ever since the Champions League, I said it at the start of the show, ever since the Premier League came in, Sky Sports came in, BT Sports came in, the Champions League came in with the coefficients and money. We've been a franchise since there, lads.
I think that's what showed over the last 48 hours, mate, that the footballing community as a whole has said, right, I've had enough of this. It's because you've seen the likes of Wigan, the Boltons, Berries even disappear. And there's going to be a lot more clubs if we continue to go down this route that will sadly disappear. The distribution of wealth within the Premier League is an absolute disgrace to the lower down grassroots in English game. You don't see the needs, the fact that they were struggling to find 1.5 million between each club for parachute payments for the lower down leagues was an absolute joke. You have to finance your football clubs so much better. I know us as fans, we're not financial experts, but surely people in and around these clubs and the prices of tickets and so many aspects you can look at it. And I think over the UEFA one, Connor, as I mentioned with the tweet, I think this is one now, they snuck that underneath our noses. I think this was a whole ploy of the whole thing anyway, to divert everyone's attention from the competition that is getting introduced in 2024 anyway. This is what the direction and the focus should be now. UEFA, the format is a disgrace. It's sad on the likes of West Ham and Leicester's that possibly could get into the top four within the next 2 seasons. You're talking about a team finishing 6th and 7th, getting into the Champions League. It should be aimed on merit.
That's just gone through, Jack. That's brand new. So look what UEFA are thinking about. I told you already, they're as corrupt as everyone.
Isn't it right though, Jack? I think your point there about the regulator, like when Carragher and Neville were chatting over the weekend, they were actually talking about the need for a regulator to help Manchester United. Like the clubs are killing themselves from within. They're not going to the Kenny Dalgliish's and saying, Kenny, what do you reckon about this? And, somebody like that who can just go, lads, you're way off the mark here. Do you know what I mean? The coefficient thing, I think, though, is funny, Dave, though. Like, it definitely should be competitive. But I also think, from a seeding perspective, if you're regularly in the Champions League, you definitely should be seeded, I think. But finishing outside the top 4 and your coefficient allowing you to trump somebody who finishes 4th or 3rd for the first time, that is fundamentally wrong. And the last thing I'd say on it is the footballing community have brought down the ESL. They can bring this down as well.
Yeah.
The last 48 hours has been powerful. So if people aren't happy, do the same thing all over again.
It'll be like it'd be like a tennis type thing, wouldn't it? Where you'd have seeds and then you'd have like your number 1s, number 2s, number 3, and it would be like that. And it's just not good for football. But Josh, was there something you wanted to say?
No, it was just Jack's point. The Super League has obviously collapsed and it's fell apart, but the whole UEFA Champions League format is literally nothing better, and it is just as literally as bad as what the Super League is, because the whole purpose of UEFA's reasoning is just as bad, and it delects these clubs like West Ham and Leicester who are trying to push to go up that next level. Like, how can these mid-table clubs push up that next level and say we're going to go fight for the Champions League? The best they could fight for is the Europa League or even the European Conference League, which that just ruins dreams for football players. It makes it harder for these clubs to attract players, because how are you going to advertise a football club to a team, no matter how good your ownership is, if you can't offer Champions League football? So I say with 1-1 battle, but see, beating UEFA is not going to be as easy, because these clubs aren't just going to pull out of UEFA's competitions. It's not as easy as the Super League. So there's a much more difficult, a much more serious fight that we must take against UEFA, because this new Champions League format will just kill football just as much as just European Super League will, because it just ruins football dreams and it ruins a lot of momentum for clubs as well. Because how are clubs able to take those next steps forward and offer wages and stuff? It just will make things harder for these middle table clubs without that ability to push forward onto the next level of football.
You have to get Gundogan's tweet up there, Con.
Yeah, so this is the tweet that Jack's gone on about. Let me make it bigger for you guys to see. Anyway, so I'm going to consider, with all the Super League stuff going on, can we please also speak about the new Champions League format? More and more games is no one's thinking about us, the players. The new UCL format is just the lesser of the two evils in comparison to the Super League, which speaks volumes from Gundogan there. And if he's thinking that, then of course there's plenty more players thinking that, not only within Manchester City, then probably the whole football world. And Jack, you mentioned, you brought that tweet up to me just before we went on, and it does speak volume, doesn't it, how the players feel about all of this?
Well, I think they're sick inside. They're the people at the heart of the beautiful game, and it's important. Like any employer, if you don't listen to people that work for you, it's going to fire back on you. They won't work as hard. It's just simple knowledge, really, from Gundogan. He's spot on from there, and I think they could all go on strike one season and go, enough is enough. If you've got no players playing in the Champions League, at the end of the day, who's going to be playing in the competition? They can't ban every single player that has refused to play. They themselves will have to take a stand. There's only so much we can do as fans, but the people that are playing in these competitions are sick and tired of it. And Gundogan's spot on there, mate. And I think if he's thinking like that, the City players are thinking like that. Every other club within Europe's thinking about that.
Yeah. No, I agree with that, and look, that is what I think a lot of people are going to think, and rightfully so, because it doesn't benefit the players. It just doesn't, and I absolutely agree with that. Anyway, Liz said, who is going to fund the 50+1 rule?
All of us.
Real Madrid.
Real Madrid. Tories.
Jesus Christ.
Chris said, rather than have my local town Kyle owners at Liverpool than FSG. Their owners are not so great either. They're a bunch of pepper. I like that comment. I like that comment. Helen going off for Chris. UEFA and FIFA are also capable in the downfall of fan-based football. Yeah, and
Winter World Cup. A Winter World Cup.
Hold on,
I mean, really?
I started this podcast off with saying exactly what we're ending it on. That UEFA and FIFA are a joke. They can't come out.
They're just as bad as each other.
You can't give out about anybody. Forget about it. UEFA sanctioned them. UEFA should sanction themselves. That's what they should do.
They're like Dumb and Dumber. Dumb and Dumber 2.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they're giving out about the Super 12 or 6 or whatever. Actually, there's 6 of us in tonight, which is probably a bit unusual. But like, you know what I mean? And UEFA, you can't say anything.
This is the really downside of things, because it was easy to fight the European Super League because it was led by club owners and there was clubs who were more. It's extremely difficult to fight against UEFA and FIFA, because how can we try and punish these big footballing bodies? How can we force them? It's an extremely difficult thing because we have no upper hand on them. If clubs pull out, they'll get sanctioned by UEFA. So it's a lose-lose battle. It would take a really big protest. It would come for leagues and players and managers all to come together at once and do the same things. Which it's hard to see how that happens, because would clubs take the risk of getting sanctioned in that case? So it's UEFA and FIFA will get away with this for years and years, because what can clubs and us fans do? Nothing, because they have no upper hand against us.
But that's the thing, isn't it? And I think. And that goes back with the owners as well. If they were so unhappy with UEFA and FIFA and how all this was going, just write an open letter to the fans and going, look, we've raised our issues up time and time again with UEFA to try and come to a stand with them, and it's not working. And I think that is what might have made things a bit better, with having that communication towards the fans and just labeling everything out on the table, because there's that report, isn't it, that UEFA now are going to hand all the English clubs a handful of money for pulling out the Champions League, pulling out the Super League, the Champions League, and that is it just makes the problem worse. That was the rumor anyway going around, and I just don't think. But going on to we'll go on to the last bit on what this could mean for Liverpool overall with the Super League. And speaking about UEFA now, of course, we could get banned from Europe, sanctions. Which I think, like Dave and the others have said, sanctions are going to happen. It's the battle was won with fans, but the war's not over with everything, with the owners and UEFA and the fans. And it's now, what will the punishment be? What the biggest punishment, in my opinion, would be a several-year ban from Europe. Will it happen? Maybe not.
Can't see it.
But Ivan, what do you think could happen in terms of punishment?
So there's no way they'll ban us, right? Because if you ban us, it just gives more.
It means the competition.
Exactly, and it gives more kind of credence to the Super League. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Another season out of the Champions League, because the club was messing around potentially about going somewhere else. The fans will be doubly unhappy about that. So that's not going to happen. I can't see it. It has to be a fine. It has to be maybe them stepping down from some of the boards and having less influence. Mm-hmm. Yeah. One thing, but there is no way they cannot ban clubs.
Do we think that they could demote the teams down to the conference? New thing that is happening next season?
No.
Can't see it. No.
Okay. It dilutes their product, so they ultimately lose there as well, right?
So why would you do that? Doesn't matter. Man City said they give us a lend as some of their liars anyway, so we're all right.
it'll be a nominal punishment that kind of looks like
it'll be a slap.
It'll be a big fine. It'll probably be a big fine. But honestly, I wonder now, should new prospective owners go through a fit and proper test? Because I think now, with what has happened, I think these greedy businessmen have to go through a fit and proper test. You saw what happened to our opponents at the weekend, Newcastle. They nearly had Saudi owners. It didn't go through because of I think it was human rights or something. So
I think Doug, the process to become an owner is one thing. How you behave is where the regulator needs to come in, right? And I think was it
you could pass all the tests and get in, and then make a bollocks of it when you're in. You know what I mean? That's where the regulator comes in. That's where the regulator comes in.
Shinawatra back in the 90s, and he failed the same thing. So massive business, human rights, and various things prevent them getting in. But then once you're in, these lads are all legitimate business people. There's just no rules in football, and they've been.
But didn't Boris? I don't like mentioning his name, but didn't Johnson mention something about they're going to bring in some regulator or bring in someone? They were thinking of bringing some governmental thing in. So something will happen. Definitely, something's going to happen. But you can't hurt the fans of the clubs. You can't hurt the fans.
To be fair, Dave, he needs to bring in a regulator for his hair. Have you seen the state of his hair?
Well, to be fair,
do you know what?
Barbers have been closed for quite some time.
No. Even when the barbers were fucking open, that's the problem. He's like Sideshow Bob. Do you ever see his hair to the side?
Half the time he doesn't look like he knows how to dress himself either. He's got his ties all over the place. Buttons are under.
And that's the person they voted to run this country. It's just
there you go.
No, but that is the thing, isn't it? And I think, look, it's nice to have a laugh about the situation and about Boris Johnson anyway, of course. But one thing I think as well that I think the Premier League are going to do as well is that they're going to try and stop any means of I don't know whether this is correct or not, whether or not I'm just making this up, but the clubs are binded to the Premier League for about 15-20 years, is it, or something like that, or the other league?
I think I saw something that Tom Werner, I think one of the Glazers or Ed Woodward's, Kroenke, Abramovich, and Sheikh Mansour and Daniel Levy have all been asked to be removed from their posts at the English Premier League committee.
Yeah. Oh. That's what it'll be. That's what Ivan said. They'll be taken off boards and stuff like that. It's more of a gesture or a thing like that. But I just can't see. Why would you hurt the fans? Why would you even hurt the players? The players have nothing to do with it. Why would you hurt the managers? It's the bloody owners. You've got to hit the owners. The only way you can hit owners is either money or on boards. That type of thing. That's the only way you could do it. I can't see them. I mean, it is a bit weird though when you think about it. Chelsea, Real Madrid, City, and PSG are in the semi-finals of the Champions League. Now, if that's not elitism with money, I don't know what is.
I think.
Let's think about it.
I don't know if Josh will agree with me on this, but I think UEFA might chuck Real Madrid out of it.
I don't think they'll have the legal grounds to do it, though.
Yeah, they haven't got the balls to do that.
There you go.
I think that I wish I was a lawyer. I wish I was a lawyer to know all of this, but it's just even common logic just says nah.
Yeah, well, it's just
I can't be dealing with Perez's statements.
I think they're going to win the Champions League this year.
Who? Chelsea?
Madrid.
Madrid. Yeah, Madrid will probably win it. Yeah.
I'm saying PSG. I'm saying PSG.
Time. Be fucking Madrid.
Well, just imagine now if they did win the Champions League and then they just hold it hostage and just go, look, we've got the prize.
The most unusual thing about this was, how come PSG weren't at the fucking forefront? PSG.
Yeah, I'm wondering that.
I'm thinking they're in the background somewhere. Defo.
Haven't they got like sheiks or
they're in the bad books anyway?
Or United Arab like Emirates owners.
Yeah,
but
that's what I mean.
I tell you something. Mike Ashley, like people say he's a really bad businessman, but my goodness me, see if he is offered the Super League, he would take it.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? And there'll probably be a load more of stuff that will come out over the next couple of days and weeks. Perez making more statements
tomorrow. You wait for the big meeting tomorrow.
Yeah,
honestly, this is just starting. This is going to get messy.
Oh yeah, there's going to be Lawyer City in this. This is going to be messy soon. Counter soon. You know what you should, Connor? This has been a quite heated little argument, and it's been a drain a few days. To be fair,
yeah,
you should probably finish. You should finish this pod with a bit of fun, with a bit of trivia questions for the last 5 minutes or something. Just to let everybody.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Yeah.
I was going to say, if only FSG showed that passion within the boardroom, I think it would be sound.
Well, guys, bring in your questions anyway, and ask us whatever you want.
Let them put in the questions. Yeah.
Ask questions. Whatever you want. Yeah, I think that's the perfect way to end it.
Keep it clean.
Yeah, please keep it clean.
Whatever you want.
Chris says Man City are winning the Champions League. Their best chances to win it.
Nope.
Jesus
nope.
Christ. Do you support the women's game, Liz? That's a question for Liz. To be fair, Tom says there's no way they will fine you and the rest of the teams because they know it's button them, the owners. We be banned for a year or two, but they hurt the fans, which is harsh. Yeah, it would be harsh.
Always
anyway.
the fans, that's tough,
but going on to Liz, I'm not making a cooking channel. The cooking channel will happen when lockdown's completely finished and COVID's over with. We'll get Jack. Well, I'll do a.
That's a pinky promise. That's a pinky promise.
Well, to be fair, I do have to learn Jack how to cook because Jack doesn't know how to cook. So that's the thing. You can treat someone with it anyway.
Yeah, I'll be the producer behind the camera as well. I'll be doing it.
Connor, you just ask simple questions like I used to do at the end of my shows, like cartoons.
I've got one.
Go on.
I've got one. Favorite cartoon character growing up?
Oh Jesus!
Cartoon character.
I'm going to give the age away here, Ivan.
Oh, no.
I used to love Ulysses 31. I don't know whether you know that back in the 80s. He was unbelievable. Ulysses, my son.
Yeah, no, I remember.
What?
I used to love a thing called Thundercats.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure if the lads remember that. They were phenomenal. I'm
not kidding you, right? I've actually got the box set of Thundercats in my bookcase. Yeah.
No, I thought you'd be too young for that.
My second cousin, who is a big fan of these 80s shows. He is basically sort of schooled me into. He got me into 24. He got me into Knight Rider, and he's got me into Thundercats. So
well, he hasn't done bad there, has he?
I was just saying you weren't around in the 80s.
No. I'm 28.
Yeah. Nearly. Nearly there.
Try for me. It's gonna be really SpongeBob. For me as a kid, I'm really young. So SpongeBob.
You must be very fucking young. My little girl likes SpongeBob.
Hey, SpongeBob is a very good character.
Josh, you're very quiet over there.
Josh,
I'll be honest. I honestly have a memory of a goldfish. I can't remember what it was when I was younger, so I generally don't have a bloody clue.
Maybe it was a goldfish.
Oh, no.
I generally don't know.
Jack, what's yours?
No, I go with the Tweenies, lad, when it was about 5.
Tweenies. Oh, bloody hell.
Okay, yeah. My
favorite song that you was with when you was a kid? Because there's surely one banger that you still remember.
Oh God, I'm gonna absolutely embarrass myself here. But the first ever song I sang to was Whitney Houston. I Will Always Love You.
You were singing at the FSG.
That's the new song I expect John Henry to release on his next video.
A way of apologising, just start singing it.
Yeah, you can get John on the karaoke. in Pop World or something.
Oh, Billie Jean for me. Michael Jackson's Billie
Oh
Jean.
my God,
83, I think it was. Wow. I was 10. I'll give me age away, but that was beyond belief. When Thriller came out, I wasn't even allowed to watch the bloody video. It was so scary. The zombie film. Oh my God, that was just bang, you know. Yeah, the Thriller album, all the songs in that basically were unbelievable back in the 80s.
To be fair, I'm gonna go for Bryan Adams for me. Remember
Which one?
Everything
The Robin Hood?
Yeah, Robin Hood one.
That's a great one.
Everything I do.
That's
I
a
do
great.
for you.
It's a great film.
I remember watching that, and the song at the end. I always remember as a kid, and it was just so good. Go on, Doug. Have you
Sean,
got one?
good fact about that film. Sean Connery actually doesn't have an acting credit for that. He's in it for basically a minute or 2 minutes. It reminds me of a joke that he once told me. A book fell on top of my head. I must only blame myself.
There you go. Boom, boom.
It sounds like a good one. Favorite TV comedy show?
Everton.
Oh no.
Neverton.
I think
I
The Simpsons. Like when The Simpsons first landed
Simpsons brilliant.
in Ireland, it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
An hour on a Sunday evening, absolutely.
Still is fucking phenomenal. It's still on. It's fucking brilliant.
To be fair though, The Simpsons have predicted some really like weird things, and if got it correct,
they have.
It's so mad. That's the thing that best for me with The Simpsons is that there's so many things that have happened. To be fair, but has anyone else got a TV show?
Well, this Super League was a fucking comedy show. I can tell you that much. This is one of the best in history.
Does anyone know the TV show Father Ted?
Oh yes.
Oh
yes.
Of course.
I loved that. Absolutely loved that.
Yeah, of course we know that one.
Yeah. For me, it's like for now, it's Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I love that show. I just love it. You go on Netflix, Dave. But
fucking Netflix.
It's Vicar of Dibley. Is that what it's called? Like that.
The Vicar of Dibley. The Vicar of Dibley.
Is it Dibley? I don't know.
Vicar of Dibley. Yeah.
South Park for me. I love that. I don't know. South Park.
Josh, do you have any favorite comedies?
Is this what we watched when we were a kid, or just in general?
Just in general.
I'm gonna get laughed at, but Brooklyn Nine-Nine was probably my favorite.
Yes, Josh.
What?
Yeah, my kids are watching that.
It's such a good show.
I liked it. Yeah,
Dave, it's such a good show. Like,
I'll say now that my favorite TV show at this moment in time is 24 because I'm absolutely hooked on it on Disney Plus.
Are they making a new series of that? I think they are.
I heard something about that. But we'll see. I've seen Kiefer Sutherland sing live anyway, so I'm pretty happy.
We talked about our favorite shows. What's the most overrated TV show?
Oh God, I'm gonna get so much hate for this.
Oh no, here we go.
Friends.
Oh yeah,
it's rubbish. That's rubbish. Right there. I haven't even watched one episode of that shite.
Dave's just like, I'm done.
It's fucking rubbish. Come on, lads.
Dave's like red card.
No, that's a fucking double red card.
Red card. Get out.
Red card.
Yeah, I don't like Friends, me. I can agree with that.
Yeah. I was going to say Game of Thrones after the last season, but apart from
Peaky
that,
Blinders.
Rest in peace, Helen McCrory.
Yeah,
it was a bit of a shocker, wasn't it? Her death.
I haven't watched any of this. Don't watch anything like this. I only watch documentaries and sport. That's it.
I do like a good documentary. Can't deny that.
Yeah, you're fucking right, Josh. None of this rubbish there.
Well, Owen Thomas.
Rubbish.
Owen Thomas from Cop sounds like David Attenborough. Anyway, anytime he speaks.
Hey, you're still
Owen,
You're stealing my thing from the podcast, Doug. You're stealing my thing from the podcast.
I do not care a jot.
I came up with that.
My channel.
Now. like,
It's mine.
listen, right? What you can have your little wife dispute off on your channel, not on mine. Get out.
You're taking them out.
Oh, bloody hell. But yeah, I think we're gonna leave it there for tonight. Anyway, we have been going for an hour and 5 minutes. Anyway, you know, thank you to everyone that has tuned in towards for tonight. Anyway, if you could please leave a like. Please hit the share button and please subscribe as well. Please go and follow all of the lads on their social medias and on their YouTube channels as well. Everyone's links are in the video description down below. So please go and check everyone out. Amazing lads. And look, if you like the podcast, then please do let us know, because, you know, we'll bring them every Thursday for you anyway. But, you know, thank you to Ivan, Dave, Jack, Doug, and Josh as well. But until next time, guys, we'll see you then.
Thank you.
I've been Connor from the Kop Council, and we will see you all next time. Ciao, Reds.